In the following lesson, we'll start discussing the brush tool and pencil tool. Your most important tool is, I guess, the brush tool. All right, let's select the brush tool. Right away, you see the option menu changes again. And right at the front here, we already have, again, size and hardness and a few presets here from the brush. Again, I'm going to stick just with the third one and show you guys in a moment the brush presets as well, which are right over here. Let's actually just move our canvas a bit to the side. And you guys get to see the brush here already. More about that in a minute. Let's also talk about this. These are, again, blending options, different blending options to work with while you're working in the brush, so it only affects the brush right now, not the whole layer. Then as well, the opacity of the brush. Again, something here for airbrush too, and this one too, working with airbrush, but this is not so important for you right now. And the flow over here also to just change the hardness a bit. And then also pen pressure sensitivity here. If you don't work with a Wacom Intuos 5 Pro tablet, then this is also not too important. Once you start working with this, then you have to have a consistent pen pressure or not. But more about that in the Wacom class. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. And let's also get over here to just our brush preset. So first of all, under the brush, I would right away go here to brush preset. It's pretty much the same like this. Just select brush preset. And now under the brush preset, you can right away see what these different brushes do. So when you have a hard select, just like so, when I paint now, it will just be very hard. If I have this selected, I can also then paint hard and smooth again. But this has something to do with pen pressure sensitivity again. Also over here, a very soft feathered brush. And if we select this one, you can be very creative with this. So a few different brushes give you different effects. Okay, so you understand that already. Let's move back to our third one here and also go back to the brush. So over here, you can now tweak the brush tip shape a little bit. Basically meaning you can adjust this. Also over here, you have again another palette. So basically this means over here, you have a few more options where you can change your tip a little bit. So let's go to shape dynamics. And first of all, under the jitter, you can see if I move this, it gets very weird down here. Let's actually go and select a solid brush. Show it to you guys a bit easier. So let's select the shape dynamics, and right away with the jitter, I can create a really old worm. And if I paint now, it will have a very weird effect. The same goes again. Let's just go a step back. I quickly will create a new layer so we can paint a bit more. Okay, so this is what it looks just like this. And I can maybe take the jitter up again. And also I can play here with the angle jitter. And there are a few more options as well. We can go to scattering, basically scatter it like this. If we paint, it will scatter like this. And always remember, it will also use the same color as you have chosen with your foreground color. So say for instance, if we quickly go back, take the eyedropper tool and select here a purple, then we have right away a foreground color with purple. Now we go back to the brush, and if we paint, we'll paint with purple. So just remember that your foreground color is always the color that you will paint with. Again, scattering off, you can go to texture, dual brush, color dynamics. I do not want to go through every single one now. Play a little bit around and test this out, what that certain effect will give you. But I would recommend that you have smoothing on always, because it's just a bit of a finer touch on the brush. All right, so let's go back to brush preset. I'm going to select my third one again and also delete this layer. So this is the brush preset. Okay, what I also wanted to show now is sometimes we also discussed this already. Let's quickly go back here to just our magnetic lasso tool. I'll zoom in a bit. Take again the magnetic lasso tool. And also move around. So basically the magnetic lasso tool is clipping around this area. I'm just doing it very roughly and complete. So right away we have created a selection, right? So now we have a selection, and if we select now the brush tool and paint over here, it's not going to paint. It will only paint inside of the selection. So have a look, if I paint over this, right away it will paint inside of that selection. Let's go a step back in the history panel. And again, if I'll select now the marking tool and click inside of the selection here, I can say select inverse. Like you guys know most probably now already, now the outside will be selected. So whatever is selected, the brush will be active in. So let's go back to the brush. And if I paint in here, you'll see it will paint. But once I go over the little glasses here, it will not paint in there because obviously the selection surrounds this. Again, let's press Command Z, get a step back, and press Command D in order to get out of the selection again. So a super easy way to work with the brush in selections and on its own. And now remember again, we talked about this in the layering system. Say for instance, if we duplicate this layer again, and over here we have a mask, and now we want to brush with the mask, or we want to mask something out, we first of all go in and create a selection. So say for instance, this time I'll just take the elliptic and marking tool, I'll make a quick round selection, I can move that around, and this area needs to be masked out. Then again, I'll take with Be My Brush, I'll select the right preset here, so basically brush number 3, and again I'll go back to brush, my shape dynamics are all good, smoothing is on, and I also like the sharp edges. Okay, and then I'll literally go over here now and paint, but again nothing is happening. Why? Because we're already again painting with a white foreground color on a white layer. Remember, we needed to have a black background layer in order to hide. Obviously I'll turn this layer off, and now when I paint, you will right away see that we have a transparent background again from Photoshop. So everything that has been hidden now has been happened through the brush. So you can use the brush as well to paint and to work on your images. Again, you want to brush that back in, or you want to do it freehand, and you can also do so now. As well, you guys can see the brush is currently feathered. So let's change that. Press Ctrl Alt together, move left and right. We'll first change the diameter and then up and down to change the hardness. Now again, I just want to remove the white frame from the glasses. So I'll slowly paint over here and with my edge slowly go around. So it's kind of like a drawing. You can remove things here, but it's currently on a mask. Just remember that. If I switch with X again, it obviously means white, so we're revealing again, and you can brush again things back in. And the same goes for again working just on a normal layer if you want to work with paint or brush something in. Say for instance, I wanted to just quickly brush in something here on the hair. Now I'll go back and select with my eyedropper tool just the color. Okay, I'm working on a mask. That's why it's just selecting white everywhere. So maybe let's press delete here, right click, delete layer mask, select layer number 1. Okay, purple over here. I'll select the brush. This time I'm also going to change the opacity, say like a 40% or so. For this, another shortcut here, you can also press the numbers on the keyboard. So if you press 4, it right away switches to 40%. Let's say for instance 2, 20%. Let's say for instance 8, we'll set it up to 80%. But for now, I just want to work with 20% and show you guys again another effect. B for the brush, Control Alt together, move left and right, change your diameter a little bit, or up and down the hardness again. One more small trick here, if you don't want to press Control and Alt together and move left and right, you can also use the opening brackets in order to make your brush a bit smaller, or again the closing brackets again to make it bigger. Again, a few keyboard shortcuts here. Now I've selected the purple color, again 20% opacity on the same layer, and I'm literally just brushing on here to give this a bit more of an effect. Not the right way to do it, but just showing you guys some people also do this, or one can also do this obviously with a brush. Again, I would do this on a mask because you're brushing over the yellow as well. But just showing you guys again what you could do with the brush. Okay, so let's delete this layer, switch on our first layer, and also go back here to the pen tool. So again, the pen tool works pretty much the same like the brush tool, just this time you'll have a few different presets. So I won't show the whole pen tool, it's pretty much the same techniques, just you have to set also your brush here, and then you'll set all your tip shapes here, and once you're ready, you can now also paint with this. Let's zoom in a little bit closer, so you guys can see it a bit better. And right away, I have the pen tool here selected, and I can now draw with this and create lines and certain things. For retouching purposes, we do not use this so much. Maybe for design a little bit. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit again. And I will also go back here in my history panel to delete layer. So we have a clean canvas again. Okay, so that's basically it for the brush and also for the pencil tool.